Most I've ever caught in this lake is one fish, but I did get one, and it was a massive. It was a trophy. Anyway, it looks good. It's a little bit murky, but we'll see. Go around the shady tree side, I think. Oh, I'm thinking, I've just started at that end. I didn't run the camera because I've cast, single cast, all the way around to here. And like I said, I've only ever got one fish out of here, but it was a trophy. Well, guess what? I didn't get that mighty run, but this thing's running like a demon. Just take my time. One of the things that made me stick it out with it was I walked past this pond up the top, and all I could hear was frogs. And I got down here, there's not a single frog. And this, oh, I felt that hook change. It's probably it has to be a carp. This bass don't go that nuts. Maybe it is, I don't know. If it is, it's a genuine trophy bass. Come on, I feel you getting weaker. I'm sort of thinking it is a monster bass. Now, this lake got stocked about 20 years ago. I think it was 1,000 or 2,000 fish, and never again. Now it's acting like a carp. Ivor, this is an amazing fight. I'll take it, whatever it is. Oh, it's too savage to be a carp, I think, but oh, it's a bass. It's a bass. And it's not as big as what I thought it was going to be. That's just a, wow. What a crazy, he's a chunk, he's huge. I thought he would be even bigger, but wow. That's a 20-year-old fish, this. Oh yeah, he's a good one. He's a big fish, actually. Yeah, they stocked it about 20 years ago once. And then I seen a for sale sign years ago, and then I seen a sold sign, and it's sat hit like this ever since. So yeah, that's an amazing fight. I didn't even have the blistering run at the start. Look at that for a chunk, mate. That is actually a pretty big bass. He's just really fat on the belly, and he's magnificent, actually. These were stocked a couple of years after we put our first stocking into Penrith Lakes, and there's still a few in here, obviously. He's well over 40. He's probably about 45. Like, just have a rough look at the rod here. Put your tail down, mate. There's a fork there. Just to give you an idea how big he is. And this is the best bit, as always. This. I mean, see you later, trophy. I'll come back and catch you another day. Oh, it is a big fish. It was a big fish. Yeah, what happened, guys, was I got an early mark, so I got so excited. I knew Penrith Lakes would be going nuts. I got all the way down there, and they're having a triathlon. It's open next Tuesday, but not this Tuesday. So I jumped the fence. Now what I had on, there's no structure out here, so I'm fishing really light. It's brim gear, 6 pound leader, 6 pound braid, and a little baby jackal. And oh, I wish I had the camera rolling because the hookup was sensational. He peeled. That's why I was sort of calling it a carp at one stage. All I was doing was just rolling that lure in like this. But I've only ever caught, the most I've ever caught fishing here is 1. And I've caught it over the years. I've got the odd 1, and I've fished it, you know, probably 20 times for 4 fish, and they've all come like that, just blistering. So who knows, maybe we might get 2 today. But that's made my day, because I was so excited about going to Penrith Lakes, and then finding out it's shut to the public. It was like, this is one place I know I can sneak in and not get in trouble, not do any not bother anybody, no security guards. Anyway, now I know that, like, I got him that, but not easy, because I walked from that end there. I'm about, a bit over halfway around the lake, but I've got to this shadow and this bit of a pocket and caught him. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's a weird place this. I often think, am I just catching the only bass in the lake every time I come down here? Well, no, that's what I mean. I've caught, that's probably the 5th fish I've caught out of a heap of trips over the years. Just one lap around this lake. They've always been big chunks. I actually think the one I got last time I was here was a lot bigger than that one, so there must be more than one in here. Because it's open water. If this was skinny water, there's no way I'd be doing this. I put a little beetle spin on just to see if the flash will draw them. Never know. So I'll give it, I don't know, 10 casts, 10 full casts. If it's sort of rule of thumb, 10 casts with a lure in an area that you know is sort of holding fish, and then switch. 10 casts no good. I did see a carp roll out there, so that's a good sign. Right, my next lure change is a crusty crab. I would rate this, it's the most underrated bass lure on the planet. I would rate this one of the top 10 best ever bass lures I've used. Before I switch from the crab, so I've had my 10 casts, no luck. I was using a little beetle spin before, as you've seen. That's a lure I highly rate for this area, is a number 2 brass beetle spin with a 1/0 hook and a paddle tail or a curl tail. It's a little go-to lure to be in the top 10 lures in the box. And as you can see, each lure is sort of different. Instead of having 10 of the same lure, I try and make the lures complement each other. So with the beetle spin, I pelt it out, and then I'll burn it or hump it across the top and then drop it and then slow roll, or I'll just let it sink and slow roll it, or I'll hop it a few times and slow roll. It's as simple as that. With this lure, same deal, big long cast out, hits the water, and then I'm just hopping it across the top like a surface, and then I just drop it. And if nothing takes, especially on a bank bite like in the creek, off I go again. I just wind it in and cast again. Now the second thing I do with these a lot, especially in the creeks, is I'll skip them. Just skip them into those back pockets and things, and that's just a reaction bite. The third thing I do with these little rubbers, and this is why I rate them so much, is I bounce them. Like, just, it's more of a overhand bang, hear that slap whack, just one big bounce, and that creates it's like a insect hitting the ground. All right, and then on top of that, it's the ultimate finesse lure. If I just sit here and I just shake the line like that, that little bit of line shaking gives it that little wiggle. And if they're on finesse bite, well, that and the chatterbait are the 2 go-to lures for that. Anyway, we'll change again now. I'm going to go to a diver, but a big one. I'm going to try Got a redfin in there. Big storm crank, because I did see a carp roll. Now the secret to fishing cranks is you have to fish them quick. They're not a finesse fish lure. You want to hit that water and you want to burn them, and change of direction and pause. You often catch them on the pause or the change of direction. Now I'm going to get, while I'm tying this up, I'm going to get a bit controversial. When it comes to casting, master anglers will tell you all this sort of stuff. Like if you're right-handed like me, you want to cast with your right hand and reel with your left hand and then your finger spool, and they tell you that's all quicker. Well, there's no rules in casting. As you can see, I'm right-handed, I retrieve right-handed. Right, it's what works for you. I come over the spool, I hold the line, so I got the hole like that. When I pelt it out, I cut the spool, I shut the bail arm, my hand is on the handle. A lot of anglers will say the reason you got to use your left hander as a right hander is it's quicker. But if I'm using spinner baits and things like that, this is how I'm going to do it. And then my casting, it's almost like a baseball bat swing sometimes. There's about 20 million different ways to cast a lure. So don't listen to anyone when they tell you this is how it's got to be done. It's what suits you, what you feel most coordinated with. And see, I'm just banging this in too. I want it ripping, like that sonic vibrations is all I want. So I'll give this 10 casts. But yeah, what works for you is how you fish. Don't be told, and don't let people try and tell you. They can give you advice. Now here's the change of direction. I like a big rip that way, big rip that way, couple up, and then I'll just high stick it and bang it into the bank again. So this is what my fourth change. Like I keep saying in this video, I've only ever caught one fish here in a session, and I've already got that, so we'll see. We've got a few more to go through. The thing about these cranks too is that they're big, they're bulky, they're accurate to cast. You can use a heavier gauge in those tight creeks and things like that. Pause and crank it again. Right, well, we've got about 5 more casts and then we'll do a switch. So we had beetle spin, little crusty crab, a diver. We've had a result on a jackal already. I'm going to put the wake bait on now, not so much to catch fish, but if they're in the area, I want them to think that other bass are feeding. So if I can get this out and chop it up a couple of times. Now with a wake bait, and that's what I'm using now, and once again you'll see how the lures are all complementing each other. We've got wake bait, beetle spin, and don't forget our jackal. So that's what we've put through now. Now that is to wake them up, and then I'm going to do another switch again. A lot of the footage you'll see, like with master anglers, is them just waking it, okay? But that's not, that works, that's great, but it's the, and this is where I like to fish a lot heavier. Just tighten that drag up. What I'm trying to do is get a chop. See how it's boiling up in the water there? I want them to think other bass are feeding that. When you chop one and your mate thinks that you're on, that means you've got it right. It's got to sound like a bass strike. So I give that a few rips. We'll give that a sort of good 10 casts like the others, just to wake them up. Like they can come up and take that. If I stay here long enough, if there's more bass in here, they will take that. Like they'll come up later tonight and take anything. They'll take a swallow. But I like to catch them when they're shut down. I like to make them bite. Lure we got is a little chatterbait. I hope I'm picking this up on the camera. Something like that. Now, I'm not a big fan of chatterbaits. They're an unbelievable lure, and they should be part of the complement. They complement every other lure. They're a shut-down lure. They're unbelievable. When every other lure doesn't work, normally it's the chatterbait that does. The reason I'm not a big fan is because we don't have Australian designed chatterbaits. They come from overseas. They've got too big of hooks. They're not right. Where this little jackal is probably the closest we've got to a chatterbait that suits our style of fish. What's that? See those bubbles? Oh, hopefully something's getting stirred up. Now with a chatterbait, you can just basically sit it on the bottom. They'll just, if you're casting into a hard bank where they're sulking, they'll pick it up and they'll swim away with it just to spit it out. But what it is, it's low and slow. That's what a chatterbait does. You just want to get them rolling as close to the bottom or along the bottom as you can. Probably the closest to a yabby imitation is what you can get, and then you can run like nice little trailers and skirts that'll just enhance the lure. I haven't run one. I'm not running one at the moment, but if I get the old nudge off it, I will. Anyway, oh, big carp, big carp. See, there is carp in here. So there's enough, the carp and the yabbies in this pond is enough to sustain the life, like healthy bass. As you've seen in that one, it just needs restocking. Clean-up day the other day, it was a massive success. For a small amount of people, we got some gear done. But some of it was pretty shocking. I did a long video on it which won't get many views, so I might do a few little short clips. One of the things that really spun me out is we cleaned up probably about 500 meters of riverbank, mangrove line, and we would have got over 50 needles, probably close to 60 or 70 by the end of it, which is quite scary to think every 10 meters of that river there's a needle. Right, what's next? I might just put a jackal on and walk out is what I'm thinking, because I've tried a fair few switches and it's an open water lake, so there's no point. Oh, maybe I'll try a little blade. Do that. Yeah. Try a blade and then we'll go on. The reasons I'm giving like a tiny little brim blade a go is, once again, I rate them as bass lures. They work incredibly well for bass, but they also get those deep water carp. Like they do, carp are evolving to the point where they take these lures. So I've seen a couple carp splash up. It's that time of year where they're spawning, so you know they might actually have a crack at that. And all I'm doing is fishing the bottom. I mean, I've got all those other lures to fish from the top to the bottom. So this blade is basically bottom only. As you can see, the bank's just pebbles and mud. There's very little structure out there, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hops, stop, shake, hop, stop, shake, hop, check, and on we go. 10 casts of this. I might call it quits at that. I think I've got a few other options there as well, but that's what we're going through. We've sort of burnt that, we've hopped that, we've rolled that, we've shook that, we've dragged the bottom, we've worked sonics on the mid water and top water. I'm going to probably put just a bigger jackal so I can get a bit of distance in my cast and just walk my way out ripping that, and hopefully we'll get one more. So strange though, like there's plenty more I could use, and I haven't even gone near the worm hooks or a lot of the rigs I use, but just a little insight to lure fishing. And I wouldn't call it a master class, I'd call it fishing tips. Yabby holes, there's thousands of them. There's a very good chance that these fish are just so fussy, like they're living large on yabbies. And here the odd frog just in this shallow here where they can't get in. So they definitely want frogs, but it's So it'll be a night bite. I don't know. Still hoping to get another fish, but it'd be nice if they're still here. Or quicksand mud. I'm not going to get that wet. I'm going to walk around the other way. Hey! Oi! Yeah, you. You'll get eaten by bass if you keep making that noise. Dropped him! Oh! No, I was just about to leave and there's 2 bass in this lake. Dang!
When accuracy matters, trust and fire.
Go para. Hey look, I almost cleaned my car out too.